Well, good evening, and thank you for tuning in to another week with Fathers Who Care. And as always, it's our pleasure here at Fathers Who Care to bring to you individuals and information and hopefully a different spirit about what's going on in the neighborhood, that you would want to be actively involved in what's going on so that you can play an important part in empowering our young people and doing what we can to empower our community. But yes, my name is Walter Jones. I'll be your guest and servant leader for the night. Our guest this evening is, who is this? What's your name, man?
David.
Sir David, if y'all know him. How have you been, David?
I've been well.
And then we got some of our young leaders over there. We got Amari, we got Danielle, and we got Marshayla, and we got Jan, and we got Amari, and we got all those good people out there who's doing the good work to help folks in the neighborhood. And listen, I just want to say to those folks who are out there rallying on the north side, God bless you. Keep up the good work. You got folks out there who are standing up, you know, for righteousness' sake. They're doing the rally on Lakeshore Drive and over at Wrigley Field to bring awareness to violence in the community, and something that we need to do collectively to stop the violence. Well, tonight we want to use this show in two forms. One, we want to use this show where in that we're going to talk about emerging drugs on the west side that are affecting our young people. And David is going to educate us. David has been real actively involved in doing PowerPoints and presentations in the community where he would enlighten some of our elders and other young people on these emerging drugs in the neighborhood, like K2, Spice, Loud, Crocodile, and other stuff, and David will enlighten us on some of those things tonight. And what we want to do is asking that you would call in tonight and let's talk about what can we do to be more aware of what's going on with our young people, but also to make sure that our young people don't slip through the cracks because we don't know what's going on. Young people right now are smoking loud, right?
Yep.
They're smoking loud, they're smoking K2, they're smoking Spice, and young people think they just created weed. You know, they think ain't nobody in the world ever smoked weed. They think they can just walk around and buy these, what they call that stuff in
Swishers.
Swishers or whatever other stuff they be buying with the different flavors.
Those are what they call the Swishers with different flavors.
The Swishers with different flavors, grape, strawberry, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then they be buying the cigar wrapping paper, right?
Yeah.
And they wrap the weed and stuff inside of that, and they smoke it. So tonight we're going to use this show to talk about opioid. We're going to talk about emerging drugs. We're going to talk about what we need to do to empower our young folks so our young folks don't become victims to the senseless violence and other stuff going on in the neighborhood. And also we want to talk to you about what can we do as a group of elders and community stakeholders to provide our young folks with outreach, with some activities, so that these young folks can have something to do. Because as one of my saying, young people can't do what they...
Young people can't be what they can't see.
So with that being said, listen, we got a few activities going on. Let me just bring this up to you so you can kind of stay in the loop. These are activities that we're doing with our young people. Our young people have been extremely actively involved in this. Let's see what we got here. What's this, David? Okay, you got here. Today, of course, is the 2nd. So tomorrow is August the 3rd. We'll be on Madison and Kildare.
Yep.
Right in the corner of Madison and Kildare, where we will be doing a Light in the Night event. People loving people on the west side of Chicago. That's at 6 o'clock. Free food, free entertainment, free activities. And then each week we're going to be at a different activity. Next Friday we're going to be at Springfield in Van Buren. Next week after that, Clark Park, and then Madison again. And so we're going to be rotating those different blocks. And here goes some activities of some of the young things that the folks been doing. Look at those beautiful pictures of the young people. That's the young people running their groups, activities in the neighborhood. That's some pictures of the young folks doing things at the Chicago Police Department when the commander asked the young people to paint the bleachers for them. This is, of course, the community outreach of the young people. This is the events that they do on Fridays. And these are some of our young leaders. Of course, this is some of the events in the neighborhood. So we wanted to share with you, these are activities that we've been doing over the last few weeks. And we just want to encourage those of you who are watching to come on out and join us. Join us on Fridays. But with that said, let's get on back into the program and talk about some good stuff that's happening. Again, the program we're doing tomorrow is at 6 o'clock on Madison and Kildare. So let's get back and talk to Mr. Elam, David Elam, about some emerging drugs that's going on in the neighborhood. And I want to thank, who is that? We got Sheila and Judge Jackson, Dave. The judge, hey Judge, how you doing? God bless you. That judge is one of the most compassionate judges that I know in the juvenile center over there. Loves young people, does everything she can to empower the young folks. But Judge, we want to talk about tonight the new emerging drugs. So David, who are you and what is your purpose, David, for existing? What do you do? What do you bring?
Well,
to our neighborhood? What is that?
my name is David Elam. I am the president emeritus of the West Garfield Park Youth Council. My purpose for existing is to be a mentor,
A mentor,
to
huh?
be a teacher,
To be a teacher.
to be and share insight of what I've learned to what somebody, said to me and took me under their wing and showed me the ways to go and how to handle things. And I just want to do the same for other young people.
Yeah.
Just continue the pattern of sharing what I've learned and continue to educate, enlighten, and empower the lives of other young people as it was done to me.
Well, there's an old saying, David, that I keep trying to kind of share with you. I've been working with you and mentoring you for how many years?
7 years.
7 years. And it's been one, all right?
Yep.
Been some good days, there's been some challenging days, but they all good. And what I want to say to you, and folks used to tell me this, and still to this day I tell others, to them that much is given, much is required. So when you've been blessed and a blessing and folks are blessing you with things, that means you got to be a blessing to somebody else. It don't mean you take it for yourself and forget about the rest of the folks. That means the more somebody bless you, the more you should bless somebody else so that you can be blessing for others. There's no greater joy than to be a blessing and to serve somebody else. Do you understand me now?
Yeah.
So let's get into some conversation tonight. We got Jimmy Butler. Hey, Jimmy. Jimmy Barber. Hey, all the good people. Those are my folks. Some good people in there. Y'all call in. The question is, we're talking about the new emerging drugs going on in the neighborhood, and I would be remiss if I didn't do this right now and stop and let you know that there's a reward for justice for Demetrius Griffin. Demetrius Griffin was a young person in the city of Chicago. We've been fighting endlessly to break the code of silence in Chicago. This was the young person that they threw in the garbage can and burnt alive, Nooney. And so what we've been doing is talking about the parent. The family has a reward for justice for Demetrius, and also there's a reward out for Thana. Thana Muhammad, that's the 81-year-old sister and mother, formerly AKA Maddie Jean Chandler, who was found viciously murdered in her home on 104th. The family is offering a reward. If you want information about that, give us a call at Fathers Who Care, and we'll refer you to those folks. So we're going to also use this show as an opportunity to bless somebody who needs some help. But again, that's for Nooney, justice for Nooney, and justice for Thana. So please, if you know something, say something, share something about something, so we can break this code of silence and bring some resolution. But back to you, David. We want to talk specifically tonight about some emerging drugs. So if somebody's watching tonight and they was basically trying to find out what young people are doing, what young people are smoking, what young folks are actively involved in, and I try to stay in the loop.
Yeah.
Sometimes y'all tell me that I'm doing too much, which I don't quite understand what that means. Last time my son told me that, I almost went off on him, because I don't know where he got that from, but I know he don't tell me that. But anyway, tell me some of the emerging drugs that's prevalent on the west side of Chicago. Give me the names and tell me what they're derivative of. Like, for instance, K2. What is K2?
K2 is a synthetic drug. It's actually synthetic marijuana, meaning it's mixed in with the marijuana. It's just something that they lace with the marijuana to give them an extra boost, as they say, to make them feel even more higher than what they already are. And it actually goes by your current mood. So whatever, the current mood is, that's the kind of mood you'll be in once you're consumed of this.
Yeah. Now, I heard about K2 and Spice is synonymous with each other.
Yeah.
Now, K2 and Spice is derivative of potpourri.
Yeah.
And so they selling it on the west side at some of these little stores on the little gas stations and little stores for $10 a pack. And this stuff is causing folks to bleed out, causing folks to die as a result of it.
Yep.
But why are young people smoking? Now, I'm not that I encourage them to smoke anything, but why would they smoke K2 or Spice, which they know or should know that this can harm them, as opposed to just, back as folks did back in the day, smoke the regular green weed, reefer?
Well, it's like I said, they want that extra boost.
Okay.
They want that extra feeling. So in order for that to happen, they find other substances to mix in with current substances to give them that extra.
Like mint leaf. You know, they used to, back in the day, they used to put mint leaf on weed.
Yeah.
Or acid, what they call it, or some acid on the weed or something, and get the extra. Is that what you mean? Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Because K2 ain't nothing but like, embalming fluid, soaked in the weed. So
Okay.
it's once it's soaked and it dries up, it just gives them an extra boost.
Okay, let's keep on going. So listen, we talk about what emerging drugs are affecting young people in the city of Chicago, particularly on the west side, and we talking about what can we do to engage our young people, to save our young people's lives, and to make sure we give our young people some things to do, because we strongly believe that our young people can't be what they can't see. You watching Fathers Who Care tonight. The phone number here is 312-738-1060. Call in, talk about what can we do to save our babies and save our community. Should we be marching on Lakeshore Drive? Should we be shutting down Wrigley Field? Should we be on the Eisenhower, on the Dan Ryan? Or what should we do? Should we march to Washington? Should we march to Springfield? What should we do? I'll tell you what we should do. What should we do, David?
Stand up and fight.
Stand up and fight. See, if we don't stand up for our own, then how can we expect somebody else to stand up for? I remember back in the day when we used to have a code of conduct in our neighborhood that we cared about each other. All elders was respected, and all elders gave respect. And then the young folks in the community respected the elders, and you never did nothing in front of the elders. But let's get back into this. We're watching Fathers. You're watching Fathers Who Care, and the show topic tonight is what can we do to engage and enlighten our young people. But also, we want you to know what are some new and emerging drugs that are going on in the neighborhood. So tell me, what is lean? Lean.
What is lean?
Lean. Like lean.
Lean is one of the most popular drugs in the community today. Lean is a synthetic beverage.
A synthetic beverage.
Which contains codeine, Robitussin, Sprite.
Sprite soda.
Yeah, Sprite. Pop soda, yeah, and Jolly Ranchers to give
Jolly Rancher candy.
Yeah, to give it that sweet, taste, so you don't actually taste.
So wait a minute. So are you telling me young people, which I know they are, because I heard about some of them doing it in 6th grade, literally. But anyway, and I know this to be true. So tell me, so you're telling me now young folks are leaning towards drinking Robitussin cough syrup.
Yep.
Mixed with, I've heard that they mix it now with
Hennessy.
Hennessy.
Yep.
And they mix it with what else? Sprite soda, Jolly Ranchers.
Yep. And ice.
Now, what do that do to them?
It actually, cause lean, you don't actually drink it. You don't drink it. You sip it.
Sip it.
Lean is not drunk. It is sipped. You sip it because of the effects of the Robitussin or the codeine. It sips, so it hits you slowly. It doesn't hit you fast. It hits you slowly. So as you sipping, it gives your body that, that downer. It's more like a downer because you don't get, boosted. You get, down when you consume it lean.
Is that right? Tell us more about it.
And it's very popular in the hip hop culture and the music industry, mainly where a lot of young people get it from the music industry. And it can be consumed so much for me doing my research and things like that.
Let's do this for a minute, David, please. Let's take this caller, then we're going to come back and you can tell us more about these emerging drugs in the neighborhood. We want to talk about opioid. We want to talk about the training that we got coming up on opioid use or opioid awareness. And what can you do? We want to train you to be able to save a life if someone has overdosed. So we got some folks that's going to come out and provide training on how to detect and to save a life and to if someone is ODing off of the opioids or something. So caller, you on there? Your comment or question, please.
Yes, I want to ask a question. My question is it true that the marijuana that the folks are smoking now is filled with horse tranquilizer or something, the reason why the smell is so bad?
She said, is it true that I think she's talking about loud. But she
Yeah.
said, is it true that what's the marijuana that young people are smoking now, is it laced with, I think she said horse tranquilizer?
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not familiar with it.
Well,
but
why it smells so bad,
but
she want to know.
What I do know, why they call it.
Or why it smells so bad, I think she said, right?
Why it gives such a strong,
Strong smell, okay.
scent and everything. It can be laced with something to give it that extra smell or that extra stench of what people may smell when they, sense it in the around them. Or
But don't loud have, that's why they call it loud, because
Yeah,
it
that's
has,
why they call it, because of the smell,
Because
yeah.
it has a loud aroma, a loud smell to it. And so the loud is kind of dipped with different type of other chemicals. As you said, what you called it earlier?
they can dip it with K2 or
K2
different other
or
substances.
embalming fluid or some of that stuff to give it that more potency, right? And so the more potency that makes them get higher quicker.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
The more
Listen,
effective it is, yeah.
yeah, you're watching Fathers Who Care, and we got our guest here, David, sitting in on us. And what we want to do is continue to move on, talking about what's going on in the neighborhood. And we want you all to just stay tuned and stay abreast of what's happening, because we got more for you. We got more for you. We're going to talk about different things coming on. And we want you to know that good things are coming to those who wait. So if you keep on waiting and keep on trusting, you'll see good things coming. And so with that being said, we're going to keep on educating, we're going to keep on empowering, and we're going to see what we can do to make sure we bring to you interesting subjects, interesting people, and information that you can use. And so with that being said, oh, watch out, we have a new guest. Well, hey, Brad, this is our buddy Brad from the Austin Voice. And Brad has been doing a lot of work. Brad, I want to talk to you specifically. And thank you, Brad, for showing.
I'm terribly sorry that I don't plan well enough in
Don't
the
worry
city
about
of
it.
Chicago.
Don't worry about it.
Traffic
You
is what
do
it
good.
is.
You do good work. But I want to talk to you specifically about how can we continue to engage our young people in the fields of media, in the fields of journalism, in the field of advertising, in the field of the work that you do. You be out in the street with young people all the time. Young people are always distributing papers to the community. You're doing a lot of stuff in the community to put a few dollars in these young people's pockets. And also, you and I have been having a serious conversation of late, specifically about Paul Simon's Job Corps.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell us first of all, who are you? You're the associate editor.
I'm associate editor of the Voice newspapers. We publish the Austin Voice and the Garfield Lawndale Voice, the largest circulation weekly community newspapers on the west side.
Hold on, community newspaper. So that the newspaper is circulated throughout the neighborhood.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So folks who are doing things in the neighborhood, you give them a chance to be showcased.
That's it.
So
That's it.
So you be sending folks out there doing a lot of outreach, because I be seeing the young what's his name? I forgot his name. Forgive me. He be taking pictures all over the place on his cane.
We have several. Walter.
Walter.
Yes,
Why would I forget his
Yes,
name and my
indeed.
name, Walter?
But we also have a number of the younger
Absolutely.
folks who say to me, "You're too old to be doing this."
Okay.
And I bristle, but they take the
Well-
camera and they're out there taking pictures, and I whisper
Yeah,
to them,
but the truth is-
you better
Yeah.
not take better pictures than I do."
But when they do be doing it though, but you're always out there with the young people, and I'm really impressed with that, because I do a lot with young.
Well,
folks.
because that's what you're doing.
That's what I do.
We have about 50 kids that teens and preteens who work with us. They come to our door at the office
Mm-hmm.
at 5236 West North Avenue in Austin, knock on the door and say, "What are you folks doing in here?" And
They're
we
curious,
say, "Come
right?
on in." Yes.
And I can see why, because they always see the other young folks coming there.
Exactly.
So they are drawn from other people, and so when they come, you don't turn them away.
No, I don't go through a big screening process. I tell them when they're applying for jobs, those applications are to weed you out, not to weed you in.
Okay.
So give them every reason to hire you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I find out the information I need to find out,
Well-
but I'm more interested in finding out what they're interested in.
Right.
And then keeping them around and listening to them. I think that's one of the things you've done for years, and I think not enough people do, and that is listen to the kids.
I actually have a fondness for them. You know?
Well,
I really have a fondness for the
yeah, I
young
hope so. And,
Yeah, I
and
really
so
do.
do I.
Yeah.
Because there's a creativity there. There's
Absolutely.
a spirit,
and they keep you young. They keep you motivated. You know, they keep you
There are
active.
some times when I go home, I wonder how young I am.
Listen, I know that feeling too. I was telling some guys that a few days ago. I said, man, they wear me out, you know. But I love it. But let me tell you, you was talking to me, and we had a conversation about Paul Simon's Job Corps. Tell me about that, because what I want for some young folks
I
who
think
are interested, if you don't mind.
I think that's one of the best kept secrets on the West Side.
Okay.
Probably in the city of Chicago, but the Paul Simon Chicago Job Corps Center is located at 33rd and Kedzie.
Right.
It's a federal outpost. It's run by the Department of Labor. It is not a boot camp. It is not a it's not a prison or any kind of punishment operation. It is a job training center.
Okay.
And it's something because you drive up the
So is it a closed campus,
road.
open
Yes,
campus?
it is.
Okay.
It's closed. It's a federal encampment, but you drive up there, and all of a sudden, the rest of Chicago just drops away. You don't see the skyline. You don't hear the city noise, and it's like a suburban college campus, a
Okay.
community college campus
In the neighborhood.
right there.
Right there on
Yes.
Kedzie.
Yes. And everything is free.
Everything.
Yeah, everything.
Like what? Like what?
They've taken care of any excuse that any young person can give, any young man or young woman, if they say, "Oh, I don't have a high school diploma," we'll get you one.
Okay.
Because you have to have a GED or a high school diploma to graduate.
Okay.
Well, I've got a child that I've got to take care of. They have free daycare right there on the premises.
So how long is the program for?
It goes at their speed. At their speed, you come in, and it's not.
So you come in where you are,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so what's the outcome?
Well, first of all, the thing is that you don't have to wait for the start of the next semester.
Okay, so
they take people every Monday.
open enrollment.
Every Monday
Okay.
they start people.
Every Monday?
Yes.
Okay.
They have 8 career fields at the Paul Simon Center here in
Okay.
Chicago. They've got the hard trades. They've got carpentry, painting, bricklaying, inventory control. Then they also have certified nurse assistant.
You know what that sound like? That sound like some of what Washburn used to do.
Yes, it's exactly, and it's
Yeah.
and it's behind where Washburn used to be.
Okay, okay.
And if you'll recall, the reason that Washburn ceased to exist was that Mayor Washington, very rightly, turned to the unions and said, "You're going to start accepting more black folks into
The trades,
into the apprenticeship programs." And they said,
so they can be licensed.
See you.
So they can be licensed.
"Yeah,
right?
well, so that they can have the high-paying jobs."
Absolutely.
And move up in the union and
Okay.
get placed in
Okay.
jobs. But unfortunately, at that time, the union said, "Hey, see ya,"
Right.
and they left, and Washburn collapsed.
Okay.
Here, it's run by the U.S. Department of Labor, so the union people teach the courses.
Okay. And it's free.
And it's all free.
Wow.
It's all
So-
free.
so if a
the
young-
food is free, it's
food.
if a young man or woman says, "Well, I'm having problems at home. I just can't stay there," they have dormitories, brand new, beautiful
so
dormitories.
they can stay there, or they can
stay there
they
free.
can commute from home.
They can commute if
okay.
they like.
Okay.
It's a beautiful
So it's
place.
options.
And then when you and every month they get a small stipend.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot, but it takes care of their personal needs. When they graduate, they get a $1,000 graduation fee paid to them. They also can go to the city colleges of Chicago free.
So
After
they
they
wouldn't
graduate.
have to go through the financial services and all that kind of stuff.
Well,
They have to apply.
They apply.
Right.
But there are so many benefits to this.
Okay.
And the real tragedy is that they are, for the past year or more,
Mm-hmm.
they've been 135 students short of capacity.
So if a young person wanted to get involved, if there's some young folks out there, which we know they are, who may have gone astray or may just need an extra push, because we want to encourage all young folks to be the best that you can be, and we know that some of you need a little urging, a little nurturing, a little, we want to be that support for you. Who should they contact?
Well, they would contact, I didn't bring all that stuff along with
So
me.
how about
I'm
if they
sorry.
contact me or
They
contact
can
you,
contact one of us.
and we can get in touch? And
Yes,
we can
because
just,
we're planning a community and clergy tour on the 20th.
on the 20th of
The 20th of August.
Okay.
And that, of course, is totally free as well. It starts at 9 o'clock in the morning, and they'll actually be able to see the
So is this
the job
just
corps
for
in
clergy,
action.
or is it open?
No, it's open to anybody that.
So if
wants to
someone
come.
if someone was interested and want to be a part or coming out to see what this campus or what this program is about, they can get in touch with us. You can call Fathers Who Care at 773-287-5821 or log on to Fathers Who Care, Twitter, Instagram, all of that good stuff. You'll get more information from us. And if you wanted to contact Brad, what's the number they can contact
They
you
can
on?
call me at 773-269-1325.
One more time.
773-269-1325.
Now, Brad-
We also encourage
Wait.
grandmothers and parents
Okay.
to come out. They're the ones that the reason we were doing this as a clergy and community tour is we wanted to get the people who influence young people,
Right,
the ones that young people go to and say, I can't find a job.
Right.
I can't find a job. What do I do?
Right.
And they may have aged out of going to a school, to a public school.
Right.
They may be in an alternative school, but they still are saying, I don't know where I'm going. Try it. Try
Well,
this.
listen, we wish we had more time, but unfortunately time is moving. But I want you to get in touch with us so we can get back in touch with you and let you know what you need to know. Of course, you got Brad here, who loves the young people. He's seriously, he's associate editor of Austin Voice on the west side of Chicago.
And the Garfield Lawndale.
And Garfield Lawndale Voice, where young people actually can go in and aspire to be whatever they want to be in the field of the newspaper. They can be outreach workers, photographers, the works. But listen, I got to go. The time on the wall is saying it is getting that time. So listen, give us a call back. We'll see you next week. God bless you. Good night. And we'll see you on the other side. Thank you so much.